attending campus and connecting with companies, joining campus organizations, utilizing social media and campus career centers, and just really how to do your own outreach and follow-up with employers you meet throughout your years in your undergrad. So with that being said, let's dive into today's topic, building and utilizing your professional network. So what is networking? For many of you, networking can be very scary. I know for myself, when I was in college, the term was pretty overwhelming. But at its core, networking is simply the exchange of information or services. And this is something that each and every one of us engage in every single day without even really thinking about it. So, for career growth, we simply consider networking as the concept of building relationships with specific people. So what are some of the benefits of networking? I would love for you guys to throw some of your ideas and some reasons you guys think it's beneficial to network. So if you guys want to type those in the chat, I'd love to see some of those. But just kind of taking you through some of the points that I have on the screen, acquiring industry knowledge, elevating your online presence, building connections, friendships, and mentorships. And a huge one that I like to always go over is discovering hidden job opportunities. A ton of employers, us included, are really more likely to hire people that, we're familiar with directly or indirectly. So most jobs, are found through some form of networking, and a lot of jobs are actually filled before they are even posted, through the employer network. So that's why it's so beneficial to just really get ahead of the game in terms of networking. It can really help each and every one of you guys find your jobs, internships, throughout college and even beyond. So how does networking really, appear in our daily life? So where do we network and with whom? The answer to this question is that, we network everywhere and with everyone. We network with family members, family friends, professors, fellow students, UCSB alumni, employers, and more. And we do so at many different functions, including places like family parties, out with our friends, in class, during office hours, club meetings, career fairs, or even employer information sessions like this one. So really the possibilities for networking are endless. And, there's so many places that we do so each and every day. So when we talk about networking, there are really two main ways to do it. We have in-person networking and online. So while many of us mainly think of networking, face-to-face, there's also ways to do so effectively online. So first, we're actually going to touch on the in-person networking. So, when we network, it's really important to consider, what we want to get out of the interaction. Are you guys looking to gather more information about a job or a company? Are you interested in just making, a connection with someone in a career field of interest? Or maybe you're just practicing your networking skills. Whatever it may be, go into any networking situation, with a goal in mind. I think something I always like to say, like as students, you all have such a unique opportunity to network in a variety of places. College is really the time to do that networking because there are so many resources available to you. So as you see on the slide here, you guys have career fairs and mixers, employer information sessions, parties and social gatherings, conferences, in the classroom, student organization meetings, and just other UCSB events in general. So one of the most important networking events you guys can all attend are your school's career events and fairs. So I know we've all probably questioned the purpose of attending a career event at one point or another. I know I myself did, but let me just say if I didn't attend my college career fair my senior year, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you all now. I actually found my career insight global from meeting our team at a career event the fall of my senior year at Cal Poly. So not only did I get to network with professionals from various companies, it allowed me to secure a job before winter quarter, and I just really got to enjoy the rest of my senior year without the stress of having to find a job. Even if you're not a senior, it's super beneficial to go to these events as well because internships can be found at these career fairs. I myself have, met somebody their freshman year of college and connected with them each and every year up until it was time to do the internship or graduate. And they are the first person that came to mind from me because they had connected with me so early, in their college career. So it's really never too early to attend these events. And I really highly encourage you guys attending all of these. So let's talk about kind of off of that, why you really should, attend a career event. So Like I mentioned earlier, it is a chance to meet new people. I think the coolest part about attending career events is the opportunity to just meet new people who are equally, eager to meet and hire you. We go to these events as employers to meet students. So I always felt like that, eased my nerves a little, knowing that I was showing up to something where, these employers wanted to talk to me. It's a great opportunity to learn about new career opportunities. Even if you go into the events with a game plan, you're still bound to see things that you wouldn't otherwise if you hadn't gone. It's also a great place to practice your introduction pitch. These events are really wonderful networking, building opportunities, and they offer you a chance to practice your pitch, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And lastly, it's a really great place to network professionally and interact with other, professionals. And college is really fun and it's meant to be. And I know sometimes it can be scary when you come to the realization, you have to find that job afterwards. And you have to kind of start thinking about yourself as a professional. So these career events are a great way to kind of segue you guys into that professional career opportunity in post-college. And, they're just a great opportunity to interact with other professionals as a professional. So this will not only be, great practice to run your pitch like we talked about, but also just hopefully build your confidence in that professional setting. So let's talk about, what to wear to these events. You can always check with your event coordinator or your career center for specific guidance. But usually, business formal or business casual attire is highly recommended. So business formal means more, a professional suit jacket, pants, or a skirt, whereas business casual is a little less rigid and refers to items including, slacks, dresses, blazers, sweaters, and a variety of shirt styles. But my advice to you guys is, don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to incorporate your own personal style, or, just wear an outfit that makes you feel comfortable and confident in yourself. So now let's talk about your introduction, that elevator pitch we mentioned earlier. So your elevator pitch is really a quick introductory speech about yourself to catch the employer or listener's attention, right? Like when you're going up to an employer, you want to make a great first impression as you're going up to them. So while it's mainly used in formal networking settings, such as career events, elevator pitches can be shifted and modified to be used in all types of networking situations as well. So just kind of to break this down, your elevator pitch should be about 30 to 60 seconds. And so should really touch on three main topics. So, you want to go up to the employer, you want to introduce yourself, definitely give them a little bit about yourself and your education, kind of an overview on your background, who you are, where you're from, what are you going to college for. Then you want to highlight, your skills or experiences that you would really like your employer or listener to know about you. So this is where I think researching can really come in hand, because you can kind of research the companies that you guys want to target and kind of look at the jobs they have available and the skills that they're looking to hire for, utilize your background and experience to tie into really what that employer is looking for. And then lastly, I would recommend just finishing up with a question to your listener, right? Usually asking for more information about them or the company. That way it kind of helps the conversation start naturally flowing with that employer. So whether you're a freshman or a senior, or you've already graduated, I really recommend, and I really would challenge you guys all after this to start thinking about your elevator pitches, to just be prepared for any upcoming networking and career events. Funny story, when I was in college, I actually was on a plane, and I ended up sitting next to this woman who started chatting with me, and she ended up being a VP at a company and started asking me all about myself. And that was a great time for me to kind of jump into action, utilize that elevator pitch. So that just kind of goes to show, like I mentioned earlier, networking can really happen anywhere. So it's really important to kind of just be on your A game, right? Be prepared in any kind of situation that you guys are in. And it was just a great opportunity to network with somebody in that type of role and get more information for myself, on industries I was potentially interested in going into, and try to even get some referrals or other points of contact that I could reach out to. So now let's talk about outreach and follow-up. Don't forget to just always be proactive about your outreach to employers, as well as with your follow-up from career events. Just remember that, us employers, we meet a lot of candidates when we come to campus, which is amazing. But as an employer, I personally love when a candidate follows up with me after meeting me at an event, or, connect with me and let me know they enjoyed my presentation on campus. It just tells me that they listened to kind of what I had to say and they were excited about our interaction. So couple tips for when you do send these follow-ups. tips, definitely make sure to check your grammar. I would also try to add some personal touch of what you enjoyed the most about the conversation, and feel free to attach your resume and LinkedIn profile if you aren't already connected, and let them know you appreciated the time you spent with them during that event. Even if the company you are following up with isn't the top of your list for a career, you're still building your network. You never know what type of career or employer they may refer you to in the future. So, that lasting and memorable impression in your interactions and outreach is really important. Like for myself, when I go to these career events at UCSB, I, as an employer, always like to make friends with the other employers around me and kind of understand the types of jobs they're hiring for. That way, if a student comes up to me and maybe I don't have a career available or opportunity for what they're looking for, I can really point them in the right direction, or go to that employer and say, hey, I just talked to this amazing student I think would be a really great fit. So it's always important, whether you're interested in that company or not, to really make a lasting impression, because anybody can really be that connector to something that you might be looking for. So now let's talk about another form of in-person networking, which is joining campus organizations. So why should you all join campus organizations? It's important to network with current students, alumni, employers while building your resume. So most employers look for candidates to hire that were involved in campus organizations. I myself have connected with alumni from my previous organizations that I've never even met, but that's totally okay, because it's building my personal network and theirs. So, from that, I've had upcoming graduates reach out to me about my company simply because we're in the same organization, or had the same major, or even something as simple as being an alumni of the same university. Organizations are in place for countless reasons based on the type of organization, but I promise you that every organization that you guys are a part of helps build a professional network in so many ways. So, follow those organizations in your degree program, and keep, a lookout for networking opportunities they offer students to attend. So now that we've addressed tips for networking in person, let's talk more about networking online. While LinkedIn is one of the best ways to network online, we'll talk about it more in depth shortly. And there are a variety of other ways to do so as well. So other ways to stand out and get noticed online include, fully filling out your Handshake profile and getting registered for Gaucho Network, which is UCSB's alumni network program and platform. You can also attend virtual recruiting events like career fairs and information sessions, as well as online events organized through professional associations. These can all be helpful for, interacting directly with employers of interest. So as previously mentioned, online recruiting events like career fairs and information sessions can be a great way to interact with employers and get noticed. So how can you prepare for those events? First, make sure that you have the correct technology to connect, and that it is running smoothly beforehand. And then ensure that you will look professional on camera, at least from the waist up. And it's also important to be as prepared as possible. So make sure you research the companies, like I mentioned earlier, you plan to speak to ahead of time, and open positions they have by looking at their website or LinkedIn, in the news and through Handshake. And lastly, update your resume and make sure that you have a digital copy uploaded and ready to be sent in case an employer asks for it. So if you guys need help with this, make sure to take advantage of your Career Center's document review services to really kind of help polish up that resume. So now we're going to talk about updating your professional network and profiles. First and foremost, you guys should all have your professional social media profiles and campus career boards that we mentioned earlier updated. So we're going to kind of dive into some of those. This includes your LinkedIn, your campus career boards, and resume. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile yet, make sure to create one after the session today. Even if you guys are a freshman, totally fine if you guys don't have a ton of professional experience yet, but over 75% of hiring managers look at LinkedIn profiles to learn about candidates before interviewing and hiring them. So just a great way to get out there in front of employers. On these profiles, be sure to include everything in your professional and academic portfolio, as well as your hard and soft skill sets, so employers can find you when searching for candidates, because they can search a variety of different ways, and one of the ways is through skills. So that's why it is so important to get out there, get on LinkedIn, even early on in your stages at UCSB. So once your profile is updated, it is time to start connecting. So who should we connect with on LinkedIn? The answer is really, anybody and everybody. I would recommend starting with your close network first. So start with, friends, other members in your organizations, anybody maybe from previous internships, previous classmates. Look at what companies they worked or interned for, connect with them, follow that company, then reach out and ask them about it. The more you learn, start researching other companies in the same industry and do the same. So I definitely recommend connecting with employees and following up with a message to simply introduce yourself once they accept your connection. The simple networking interaction and the follow-up after will go such a long way with employers. So also make sure to connect with every employer or hiring manager you have met at a campus event or spoke to on campus, in class, or at an event you attended. Once connected, let them know you enjoyed their presentation and want to connect for future networking opportunities. LinkedIn is also super useful for informational interviews. A lot of people don't know about informational interviews. So what is an informational interview? This is where you request to speak with a person who works in a career you are interested in learning more about, to ask them questions to gain information. So you can ask them things like, how did they get into this field? What is their normal workday like? What do they like or dislike about their position? This isn't a time to ask for an internship or a job. It's really, there to gather information and build connections. So now let's talk about utilizing social media. Social media is a huge part of our lives and an even bigger part of building a network. So no matter what social media platform you use, start utilizing it to build your professional network as well. So what I would recommend, how can we utilize social media? I would recommend following companies so you can stay up to date about the company, find out about potential networking, mentorships, or internship opportunities they offer, and anything else they share on their social media platforms. In fact, Insight Global actually welcomes applications through social medias, following, and networking. To give you an example, when Insight Global releases new videos on our professional and social media networks, we increase actually applications up to 75%. So lastly, just remember to keep your interactions professional if you ever message or respond to a post or story, but there's no harm in building your network with companies through their social media platforms. One of the best ways to build your network is by utilizing everything that your guys' career center has to offer, whether you're an undergrad, a graduate student, or even an alumni. Not only because your career centers have direct relationships with the employers that come on campus, but also because they're always willing to refer students in the job market to employers that they work with and have relationships with. Not only is it their job to help you build your network and have a successful career search, but they want to do it. So I highly recommend, you guys are in such a unique position where you do get to utilize all these resources that UCSB has to offer. I really recommend taking advantage of those. Kind of going off that, talking more about the benefits of campus career centers. They offer tips and pointers on how to better your career search. They'll suggest companies you may be interested in and sometimes even put you directly in contact with the hiring manager. So I highly suggest you guys stay up to date on all events, workshops, employer panels, and other networking events your career center hosts. If you don't subscribe to your career center's newsletter or job board updates, I would highly suggest finding out how to do so, because the more you guys know about events on campus that offer you the opportunity to meet new employers, to build your network, the better. So huge kudos to all of you guys for even being here for this. You guys are already, taking advantage of those resources offered. So great, first step with that. Now let's talk about some of the career services UCSB has to offer. They can help with prepping for interviews, including interview prep appointments and mock interviews, and they also offer a variety of virtual services, including document review, drop-in advising, individual appointments, virtual workshops, and recruiting events. So what's next? Just remember that a professional network is crucial in your career search. Building connections from professional platforms, social media, and campus events, or through your career centers, will only help you now and in the future for your career search. So I would love to connect with all of you guys on LinkedIn, and I'd love to hear what you guys thought about our session today. And I'd also love to hear from each and every one of you. We will also be attending the UCSB Career Fair on Thursday, October 17th. Again, I highly recommend each and every one of you guys get out to that career fair to really start utilizing some of the things you learned in this presentation in person and start practicing that networking. Whether you're able to attend these events or are in the market for a new career opportunity, we personally are actually hiring for our internal account management and recruiting roles in our 70+ offices nationwide. So before I open up for the Q&A, I'd just love to give you guys some brief information on Insight Global and what we do as a company. So what is Insight Global? We are a professional staffing firm that was founded in 2001. And we work with Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 companies nationwide to help fill their open positions or help with any sort of staffing and hiring needs that they need. So, for example, we work with companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google, and thousands of other companies across the nation. So let's talk about our sales career opportunities here at Insight Global. This is actually kind of an overview of our internal growth path. Our company is 100% organically grown, and every employee starts in our entry-level recruiting role before promoting to more of that account management or professional recruiting role. So every role here, regardless of what it is sales oriented and allows you the opportunity to either connect with candidates or clients. I myself actually started out as a recruiter right out of college before I moved into the account management position, supporting various clients in the Sacramento area, which is the office that I work in, before moving into internal talent acquisition and getting to now hire, people like you guys and bring them into the company here. So in terms of what we hire for, we are really looking to hire candidates seeking a long-term career in sales. So here's a map of our current footprint. Insight Global provides services to our clients with over 1,200 account managers, more than 1,400 recruiters in 65+ offices nationwide, with 3 of our MSD delivery centers across the US and Canada. We have had a ton of success hiring from UCSB. Most of our UCSB alumni have gone to work for various California offices, including our San Diego, Orange County, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Silicon Valley, and San Francisco offices. But we are also hiring nationwide and partner with UCSB to do. So if you are looking to leave California, that is definitely an option that we can do as well. So here is a virtual office tour I just kind of wanted to share with you all. It goes on and on and on. Get them in the zone. And about the things that we could be. When I'm in the spot, don't believe me, just watch. Is it too late now to say I need a wonder? And then we start to dance and I'm singing like. So that video is actually our San Francisco office. We have multiple sales teams out in San Francisco, and actually 3 of our leaders in the San Francisco office are UCSB alumni themselves. So if you guys are interested, again, in working for either the San Francisco office or any other office nationwide, I would definitely love to get connected with you. So we do actually also offer 8-week internships. So if you guys are juniors looking for an internship that can lead into a full-time opportunity, we do have those available. In this internship, you'll gain in-depth training, real-world experience, and professional coaching advice. You'll also have the opportunity to earn a full-time role upon graduation. So now let's chat about training and development programs here at Insight Global. Insight Global puts a large emphasis on training and development of our people, especially since it is a long-term career opportunity. We invest in our people from day one. We actually have our Insight Global University, which is our world-class training facility out of our headquarters in Atlanta, where we actually offer virtual and in-person trainings. We also take the learn by doing approach and offer one-on-one mentorship, career planning, and leadership development. And we are currently building our West Coast territory that'll be open in 2025 in Seattle. So we will also have an Insight Global University out of there as well. That way we can fly our West Coast offices out to training there since it'll be a little bit closer. In closing, if you guys are interested in learning more about Insight Global or applying, you can check out our website here by clicking the QR code or going to www.insightglobal.com/join Insight Global. And like I said, again, please stop by the career booth at the upcoming career fair. I would love to connect with each and every one of you. Even if you guys aren't interested in a career in sales, I would love to give you advice and offer any resources I can in helping you guys find your career after college. Feel free to also follow us on socials as well to stay up to date on company announcements, informational tools, and to get a visual into our culture. Our YouTube is loaded with training videos that might even be beneficial for everyone. So with that being said, I just want to thank you guys all so much for attending today's Prep with a Pro series. I hope this has been helpful in furthering your career searches. And now I would really just love to, open up with a Q&A session before closing out. So if anybody has any questions from today's topic, feel free to put it in the chat, or feel free, like Diana said earlier, you guys can come off mute, come off camera if you guys feel comfortable, and ask questions that way as well. So now I'll open it up to you guys. Oh, perfect. Okay. Yes, if you want to go ahead and come off mute and ask the question, that would be perfect.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. I was curious, you mentioned earlier that one of the students at a fair connected with you in their freshman year and like she stayed connected, which is what made you like get to know her more and think of her for a role. So I guess I'm wondering, how did she stay connected with you? Is it like she made sure to come by and say hi every year at an internship or a career fair, or more like online, like connecting with you through
Yeah.
LinkedIn and sending updates?
Yeah, that is a fantastic question. So Insight Global actually attends all 3 career fairs throughout the school year. So fall, winter, and spring. So yeah, she definitely did, like each year and each quarter, she would stop by and say hi to me. But yeah, we stayed connected on LinkedIn. She interacted with a lot of our Insight Global posts. Anything I posted, she was interacting with. And so you can definitely kind of, utilize both in person and online to stay connected through your, freshman to senior year. And would send kind of follow-up thank you emails as well. And then when it came time for like junior year, for example, we were able to, start hiring for that internship. So I highly recommend that. And just remember too, like employees are excited to hear from you. They want to hear from you. So I always tell people, don't think of it as something scary, because we are really excited to hear from you guys. And I myself was, I remember when I was in my undergrad, how scary it was. So I really can relate to sometimes it feeling a little bit overwhelming and scary. And so I'm always happy to connect with students, whether it be online or in person. But that was a really great question.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
It'd also be great if you could share your own experiences, maybe doing informational interviews, if you ever did.
Yeah, so I did them both. I've done them both as an employer and as when I was a student. And so, especially in college, I didn't really know I wanted to do sales until I was, graduating in my fall semester or quarter of college. That's kind of really when I honed in on sales. But before that, something I just did was I really did kind of think about a few areas of interest. I was, for example, interested in marketing and PR and a little bit of sales. And so what I did is I found professionals at companies I was potentially interested in working for later on. And I just said, I would just shoot them a connection and a quick message of, hey, I would really love to just, if you have 10-15 minutes, I'd love to hop on a phone call, with you and just hear about your own experience working in this field and how you got there, and just kind of took that time to just ask questions, get to know them. I took, the first portion of the phone call to create and establish a personal connection. And then from there, I kind of asked those other questions. And kind of like what I mentioned earlier, I didn't use this as a time to ask for, future job opportunities or things like that. I just really wanted to show them and learn from them. And that later on, helped me down the line. And as an employer, I love when people reach out to me, whether they're, still, I've had high schoolers reach out to me, up to people who have maybe been in another career field and they were looking to make a switch to sales. And same thing, they, just kind of reached out to me to see if they could, take the time to chat with me. And there's been people I was so impressed with for doing that, that I, actually was like, hey, we actually are hiring here. And I think based on what you're looking for, it could be a really good opportunity. And then I took that time to kind of tell them more about Insight Global and kind of set up their interview process with us from there. So even if you maybe aren't going in to ask for an opportunity, it can sometimes lead to an opportunity, which is really awesome.
Sounds really beneficial. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for asking that.
I have a question, and I wonder if you could touch on something with regards to LinkedIn, because I think, students have questions about the relationship between LinkedIn and like a resume, for example.
Yeah.
Do those have to be completely aligned, or what kinds of flexibility can people have on their LinkedIn profile versus what they have on their resume?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I always like to kind of put it like, if you think about LinkedIn, it's kind of a time to expand more on your resume. So it should have and house a lot of the same things as your resume, but now it's kind of that time to do a step further. So you can add actually an intro about yourself. As an employer, I look at people's intros and I kind of see, what their experience is. It's also a great place to add any like really kind of interact on LinkedIn. Like sometimes I'll see a student because I'll see they commented on something or they reposted something. So I almost like to say it should have all the information from your resume and more. Anything extra you could think of, anything that maybe didn't fit on your resume or anything you want to go a little bit deeper into, this is a great place to do that. And we really kind of look at them hand in hand. I would recommend putting the link to your LinkedIn on your resume, because from that we'll go and click into your LinkedIn profile and get to kind of read and see, even more about you. And you can also put open to work settings on your LinkedIn. So you can actually target certain careers. And as an employer, through LinkedIn Recruiter that we use, we actually can see your guys' open to work preferences. So say you're seeking, sales careers, I can see that on your profile. Certain employers will actually search for people who are open to the specific job they're hiring for. So it's really great to kind of keep your profile up to date, and just add as much as possible to really help you, stand out to employers. And one thing I've also seen, I've had people make posts. So they might maybe just make a post to their network and say, introducing themselves, maybe what year they're in college, maybe internships they're looking for, types of jobs. So you can even just be really interactive on there as well and almost use it as another form of social media.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And students, I encourage you to ask your questions because Emma's got such great information and is so willing to share.
And something too with LinkedIn, I always recommend, I personally didn't actually make a LinkedIn until the summer before my senior year, but I wish I had done it sooner. I would say like I mentioned, I'm even connecting with people now who are like graduating seniors in high school and they're getting their, LinkedIn profiles ready to go. So even if you feel like you're early in your college career, I would still highly recommend creating your guys' LinkedIn profiles now because it's just never too early to start adding to it and getting information on there.
And you mentioned it, Emma, that we have the Gaucho Network as part of our alumni group. Students, if you're thinking ahead, become a member of that because that's where alums live. That's where they post jobs. There's lots of things going on in the Gaucho Network. That should be part of your networking, thought process. So thank you, Emma, for mentioning it. And that's really important.
Of course. Yeah. And kind of doubling down on that too. I think I always tell people, and I mentioned this earlier, it's just really taking advantage of these resources. I think after college, I really realized how many resources I had in front of me when I was in college. And it can be, difficult to network without all these resources available. So I highly recommend kind of utilizing these resources sooner, going to the career fair sooner, talking to your career center, creating a really great relationship with your career center. I know I've personally had, Diana and the team over at the UCSB Career Center refer students to me that, they had talked to and thought were really good fit. So I would really also network with your career center professionals and those people on campus as well, because they are kind of a portal to all those employers that, you know, want to work with UCSB and hire from UCSB.
Thank you for that plug. We appreciate it. And I totally concur. Come visit the center and learn about what it is we have to offer. The website is really, really extensive, so it's very convenient. I also wanted to mention one more thing about LinkedIn. There's that alumni function that is so amazing. So literally, if you affiliate with the UCSB alumni group, you can search on LinkedIn for various alumni in particular fields, industries, locations, by job title. Wonderful places to go and connect with people that are doing what you think you want to do. So anyway, I'm going to be quiet now.
I love that.
Just wanted to throw that out too.
I think, yeah, with that, definitely get involved in your pages. I'm still a part of my college major pages. I'm connected with almost all my professors that I had when I was at Cal Poly. So just a really great way to stay connected with them. And, you know, sometimes they'll even reach out to me if they have students that are interested. So yeah, connecting with anybody, everybody, getting involved in those career pages for UCSB are going to be really important. Getting involved in pages with your majors as well. And something too that is really important, I think, updating your guys' LinkedIn's to show your kind of graduation year. So when employers are looking too, they can see, you know, who's graduating seniors who are looking for jobs, juniors who might be looking for jobs. So really kind of keep that as up to date as possible as well. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to join this today. I would absolutely love to connect with, you know, anybody and everybody on LinkedIn. If you have any other questions after this, you know, feel free to reach out. I'll drop my email in the chat in case there was anything you guys, you know, wanted to ask me separately. But again, I just want to say thank you so much for just taking the time to hop on this. And I know it's summertime, so we're so grateful that you guys were able to join.
Well, we thank you so much, Emma. We are very lucky at UCSB that we have such wonderful employer partners who are interested in recruiting our students and sharing their wisdom and that type of thing in their experience. So thank you so much. And it's always fun to work with you.
Yes, I always love getting to work with UCSB. So I will see you guys hopefully at the career fair in October. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll chat soon.
All right.